That's about all I got right now. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel and welcome back to my now completely empty garage, except for, you know, some bikes and some other recreation, my 13-year-old lawnmower. Anyway, you might be wondering, well, where is my Stingray? And as you probably saw here in the title and the thumbnail, I'm getting a 2023 Z06. I'm finally getting it. My name finally got called. The dealer called me and says it's ready to build. They actually called me back on, I believe it was November 30th. They did get one allocation in the November allocation group. Called me on the 30th. I had to have my order in by December 1st, which so they gave me one full day to get that order in. And then it was finalized on December 2nd. So here we are in early January. I've actually been sitting on this news for about a month now because I wanted to make sure a couple things were in line before I made this video. So you might be wondering then still, why do I not have my 2022 Stingray? Well, that was one of the things I wanted to make sure went correctly. So I actually traded in my 2022 Stingray, but I already did that. The new Z06 might not get here until about early February, we're guessing. So probably about 3 to 5 more weeks from right now when you're seeing this video, when it's uploaded. But I wanted to get rid of the car now for 2 reasons. First of all, I actually did want to get rid of it in last calendar year, just for financial purposes. I'll talk about that at another time. The other reason why is because the value of the Stingray Corvettes is kind of wobbling. One day it might look really good, one day it looks absolutely terrible. The dealer gave me a great offer that I wasn't really expecting. It wasn't crazy high, it wasn't crazy low, but it was better than I expected, and including the tax savings, I had to take it. So I decided to give it to him early rather than wait until the car was ready to be picked up. So you might be wondering, well, what car am I getting? What spec am I getting? What color? All those things, what options? How much am I paying? All that stuff. Well, first we're gonna take you into the computer. We're gonna get on the visualizer and I'm gonna show you exactly how I spec'd out this car, what color I'm getting, what options I'm getting and everything else. And then I'll come back here after I do that. And I do want to tell you a little bit of a cautionary tale about getting an allocation for these Z06s. You remember I did make a video probably about 1.5 years ago about how to get an allocation for a Z06. And sure enough, that strategy worked for me. But sure enough, the reason why I got on a couple of different lists is because other dealers aren't as honest with their customers now that the rubbers meet the road and these cars are getting delivered. So I'll tell you that story when I'm done. But let's get into the computer and check out the car. All right, guys, so here we are in the visualizer. So this is not the car that I'm getting. I wish it was. If money was no object, I would absolutely get the pearl white 70th anniversary car. With the Z06, they're probably gonna make no more than maybe a couple of hundred anniversary cars just because of all the constraints. So that'd be a super cool car to have, but unfortunately, it's gonna cost a lot more money to get an option like that. So let's go down to what I'm actually getting. If you know me and you know my previous Stingrays, you know I try to keep things really simple. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to trim levels. There's 1LZ, 2LZ, 3LZ. The 1LZ is kind of the base trim. To me, it comes with mostly everything you need, just like the 1LT on the Stingray did. So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting the 1LZ package. It saves a ton of money and is just as much of a car. The only thing it's really, really, really missing, in my opinion, is that rear camera mirror, or the rear mirror camera, which is mounted right there, and then the blind spot monitors in the mirror. Those are kind of safety features. They're cool electronic features, but more so for the safety reasons, just because the blind spots in any mid-engine car like this are going to be you know, a little tough. So it'd be nice to have those, and they're missing on the 1LZ. Other than that, it still has heads-up display, even with the 1LZ package, and it's going to be an awesome car even at that. So let's look at the colors. You know, ceramic matrix gray was the color of both of my Stingrays. I loved that color, but I did want to get something different. And so the option that I almost got when I got my first Stingray was rapid blue. I was really like a 51 to 49 going back and forth between the two colors. And now I had the opportunity to get something a little louder, a little more crazy in a car with the Z06. So I'm going to get the rapid blue now on my Z06. The next thing I'm getting is I'm going to look at the wheels here. So they have the option right here for the Z07 package. I really wish I could get it. There's two reasons why I'm not. One, if I needed it right now, I couldn't get my car right now. I have to wait at least one more production cycle, maybe longer, just because the dealer I'm working with doesn't get tons of allocation, so they may not even get one the next time around. So I'm not going to get it for that reason. It's going to be hard to get. Secondly, it'd be about a $20,000 option between just the Z07 package and the Carbon Aero package you have to put in there. It's about $20,000 just for the Z07 package. And even though it's cool, arguably worth it, it's just not money that I'm wanting to invest right now in the car. But I did want some new wheels. There's a couple of options for the wheels over here, which are actually extremely affordable. And that's the satin graphite Z06 and the black Z06. The only difference, they're both basically black, but the black is a gloss black. The satin graphite's more of a satin black. So I'm going for the satin graphite. I love that. I love the dark color in the wheel, but at the same time, you can still see the lines of the wheel because it's satin. It doesn't get just kind of turned into a black circle like the black wheel itself does. And that looks super, super cool. One of the options you already see selected here is the carbon flash mirror and spoiler. I had that on both of my Stingrays too. I think it's an option that is extremely affordable and a great deal. $200 on the Z06. They've raised the price from $100. So those are black, the mirrors, and the spoiler on the back is black as well. There's only one other option that I'm selecting, and it's kind of an interesting one. We're gonna go into the interior. So you notice that the interior selected is black. I am getting a black interior. I'm not gonna go something weird with red on the inside. But one of the interesting things I am also getting on my, let me go to the seats tab here. This car, different, is I'm actually gonna get orange seat belts. So it's gonna really pop off that interior and add a little accent to it. I also plan on maybe adding a few extra orange accents throughout the car. You notice the stitching here on the car is all white. It's actually a really light gray, and it's common for a lot of people to color that stitching. So I might actually do that. I don't know if I want to do orange or blue or a combination of both, kind of like the Heritage GT has, but I think it's a cool extra touch. Originally, I did not get anything with the seat belts on my Stingray, but I figure I'm going to throw it in here. And those are really all the options that I got, except for I have one special unique option that is not even, you can't even see it here on the visualizer, but it is a brand new option that no one currently has with the first round, and that is the red engine cover. I'll put a picture of it here of what it's going to look like. And basically the intake plenums right here, it's not even really a cover. These two intakes right here and right here are going to be red, just like the valve covers. So it's really going to look super cool looking at the engine from the outside. So that is basically what my car is going to look like, guys. As you can see, it's going to be relatively basic, relatively affordable spec. There's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, obviously, money, right? This car base price ended up being about $15,000 to $20,000 more than I was expecting it to, just the base price before all the options. Unfortunately, I can't spend just an unending amount of money on this car. So I had to make it affordable. I had to make it to where I could easily and comfortably afford this as my spare car. And second, you know, I've been known just the same way with my two Stingrays that I had to get the basic options. I don't need to add $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 worth of options onto my car to make it worth it to me. I'm perfectly fine with having the base options. The 1LZ, the basic spec of this car, is going to have way more options in electronics and gizmos and gadgets than even the $1 million Ford GT. So it's got a lot of options built in, and I'm happy with that selection. The third reason is, well, I'm not necessarily paying sticker price. And I'll get into that when I pick up the car. I'll talk about the finances. I'm not paying sticker price, but I kind of still am paying sticker price. And it kind of goes back to that reason why I sold my car 2 weeks ago at the end of December. And I'll talk about that again when I go over the delivery and all the finances and everything in a few weeks when I actually get the car in my possession. So look forward to that. So I wanted to give you guys a quick tale also on what happened, because if you remember correctly to the video I made many months ago, actually it was over a year ago, I said I'm on a few different lists for the Z06. That is still true, but I also said I have 2 #1 spots with local dealerships. Now you may be wondering, why in the world are you on multiple lists, and why in the world do you need 2 #1 spots? No, it was not because I wanted to get 2 early Z06s. That'd be cool, but I couldn't afford it. And it wasn't because I wanted to get one and flip it and all that. It was because of exactly what actually happened to me. And it's happening to a lot of people that are on wait lists at these dealers. See, many large dealers have a good process where they take your information, they get a deposit, they write stuff down, they put you in the computer, and you have a secure spot for that car. Although some dealers we've seen are taking those secure deposits and deciding, oh, we're not gonna give that car to you anyway. We're gonna go auction off the first few spots because we know we can get 80, 90, 100 plus $1,000. All you guys that put deposits and got early on my wait list, y'all wait until that whole thing calms down, then I'll give you a car. That's terrible. But what is also happening is one thing that happened to me. One of the dealers that I had a #1 spot at since June of 2020, I have multiple emails and I've called them and talked to them a few times. They decided to basically ghost me earlier this year, or I guess I should say earlier last year when they first started releasing the allocations back in August. I emailed them, I called them, no one would call me back, no one would email me back. The dealership's about 60 miles from here, so I didn't want to just drive up there on a whim without contacting somebody, but I would have if I had to. Finally, in November, when I contacted them about this new round of allocations, they finally did get back to me. Now I have emails and documentation saying, I have the #1 spot in line. I've talked to them multiple times saying so. I even have an email saying that they do not sell over sticker price. And when I finally contacted them in November and they finally got back to me, they said, well, we don't have a deposit for you and a contract with you. So if you want to come into the dealership now, you can, but we already have about 15 deposits ahead of you. And I could not believe what I was reading in that email, because I have multiple emails saying that I had the #1 spot at that dealer. I even have emails asking them, can I come in to the dealer, pick the options and leave a deposit? And this is when they stopped responding to me many, many months ago. So that's happening to a lot of people out there. So if you have a spot at a Z06 dealer, check on that spot, check regularly. On all the other lists that I'm on, I have gotten updates from them over the past year or so, every few months. Every one of them I reached out to again in November to see where I was on that list. And most of them said, you know, I'm here, I'm there. One dealership, I actually went from #7 to #8. Don't ask me how. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on. I've actually had 2 dealerships that I'm higher up on the list, checked in with them anyway, and they both told me, we haven't received any allocations. But I know that's not true because I can find out from resources online what dealerships have gotten allocations so far. Both of those dealerships have gotten one. They got one in the first round of allocations and they delivered them back in December. So they lied to me. Now I wasn't first on their list, that's fine, but the fact that they're not telling me the truth about even getting any allocations yet this year is not good. So the dealership that I did have a good relationship with and I have bought a car with previously, I was #1 on their list. Ultimately, that is the one that I'm going to buy the car from, and it should be here in early February, and I'm super excited about it. And I want you guys to subscribe and share and hit the bell and do all those things because it's going to be exciting. I'm super excited about it, and I hope you guys are too. And I hope to make some good content. I'm going to do some cool things with the car, just make it look just a little extra, a little just more of my personal style. That's part of the reason why I got the orange seat belts. It's a little bit similar to the Golf Heritage spec that's on the 2.4 GTs, but that wasn't exactly what I was going for. I was really kind of going more for that McLaren style that I've seen with the light blue, dark wheels, and orange accents. So it's going to be pretty awesome. I've got some ideas, so it's pretty cool. So anyway, guys, I look forward to showing you the car in a few weeks, and until then, adios.